I just wanted to say that I'm just talking to you from leader to leader. The concerning part is where people can take this doctrine. This is where it can take this doctrine. Now, a husband looks at his wife as the item or the tool that will separate him from God. Yo, that's crazy. Even though there is no clear law that says having sex on the Shabbat with your wife is a sin. Although I do say, fine, as far as congregating, yes, I understand. You got to wash, be clean, all these other things. You're going to be clean until the evening. Congregating is something different. We're not talking about congregating because people can congregate via Zoom. They can congregate through the phone. They can congregate like we're congregating right now, right? So, congregations can still happen on the Shabbat, still happen even with women on their period, even if you happen to make love with your wife in your holy bed on the Shabbat. But the question is not about can you congregate? Is it a sin? Is it something that separates you from God? Is it something that proves that you hate God? That's the question. And the answer is no. There's no law that says this. And if you continue to promote and teach this, you're going to teach something that's going to destroy homes in your congregation because people can take this way too far, right? Go ahead, I bet.
Yeah, yeah, my bro.
Yeah.
So do you sleep with your wife when she's on a period in the same bedroom, bro? In the same bed?
Yeah,
Like, do you think that's a sin, or do you think you got to separate from her? What would you say?
no, we have one bed. This property only has one master bed, and yeah, I do sleep with my wife. She sleeps on her side, I sleep on my side, and it is what it is. I'm calling it clean. Is it a sin for me to sleep in the bed with my wife? No. The marriage bed is holy, right? Shower twice a day because we like to be clean.
What's ironic about that is like it's like you're always about show me the law, but now you're appealing to Hebrews and putting that over the law. Leviticus 15 is clear, bro. Like it says, set apart the woman, she's separated. Ezekiel 22:10 says she's set apart, separated for her pollution. So you can't negate the verse, bro. Like that's wild for me. Like whenever I like try and show you something in the New Testament, you always say, "Show me in the law." But when it comes to all the accountability for separate from your woman when she's unclean, this is the first time I'm seeing you put all the emphasis on the New Testament verse, bro.
What New
Like
Testament
that's kind
verse?
of
What
like
New Testament verse did I put emphasis on?
Hebrews chapter 13. That's the is that not the verse that says the marriage bed is not defiled,
Yeah, the
word
marriage
for word?
bed is holy. That's right. It's not the law,
Yeah.
though. It is not the law. What do you hear me
Okay then.
communicating
So,
about
so
that?
So does the law say the marriage bed can be unclean then? Does the law say, does Leviticus chapter 15 and 20 say when
There's
your
nothing
life,
in the law that
when
says anything like that.
so when your wife lays on your marriage bed and she is on her unclean period, right? Is that
hmm
bed still clean or is that bed unclean?
No, it's unclean.
But I thought it's undefiled, G.
Well, but we're not talking about whether it's clean or unclean. We're talking about whether it's a sin. That's what we're talking about. You keep shifting to can you congregate? You keep shifting to is it clean? Is it unclean? No, we're talking about is it a sin? Is it something that separates you from the most high God? So Yehuda, is it a sin? Yes, it's a sin and separates you from God, or no, it is not a sin.
It is what a sin though. Is what a sin. Well, having sex with your wife on the Sabbath. Yeah.
Right.
Heaven, yeah, it's a sin, my bro. Don't do your pleasure on the Sabbath day.
Hey,
Sanctify the Sabbath, bro. Like, you
hey,
can't sanctify a Sabbath if you're making yourself unclean by having sex with your wife on the Sabbath. Bro, you can't be doing your own pleasure on the Sabbath day. Like, the Sabbath day is not a day
that's wild.
to go wild with the wife, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
that's
yo,
that's great.
because the Sabbath
What you're
day is
teaching
a
is crazy.
holy convocation. No, what you're saying is wrong, bro. Because here's what I teach my people. Yeah, I teach them the Sabbath day is a day for us to come together in fellowship. Yeah, with Christ amongst us. It's a convocation that God has ordained, an appointed time for us not just to sit in our houses, but to come together. into each other's presence. And if any of you guys are unclean, I tell the women, if it's your time, you just wait till next week,
Let me
okay?
let me
And then
let me
we're
meet you
there
halfway.
again. Praise the Most High.
Let me meet you
That's how
halfway.
that's the scripture, bro. You set them
Let's stop
apart, bro.
going in
They
circles.
don't come to the convocation.
Let's
That's
stop
the
going
law.
in
There ain't
circles.
nothing wrong with that, bro.
Let me acknowledge you and meet you halfway. Um, I do have, congregations, families that meet at this property, and you know, um, me and my wife, we don't do anything like that before they come because I have to lead this congregation, right? So this is me showing you I'm meeting you halfway because I have a
Wait,
responsibility.
repeat that. I didn't hear what you said, bro. Sorry,
No
bro.
problem. Because I have a responsibility to lead a congregation, me and my wife don't do that before we actually congregate, right? We don't do that. So our job is to stay clean before for the sakes of congregation, for congregating, right? So just to be clear. And then there's the specific weeks where we don't congregate. We usually have 3 weeks on and we do 1 week off for obvious reasons, right? So that's what we typically do in our congregation to be able to alleviate that. And all of the families do the same thing, as far as when their wives are on their cycle. So that's the
So
topic of.
you telling me you teaching what I teach this whole time, like on the low?
Yeah,
Is that what you telling me, brother?
absolutely not,
Hey, stop
absolutely not,
destroying these
because
families, my view, man. Why you making it so grievous and
yeah,
burdensome? Tell them to lay with their wives, man. Stop oppressing them, man. What they do in their
so
bedroom ain't your business, Ak.
right, so for the sake of congregating, like I said, because we all like, we love each other, man. We want to meet, and we want to meet righteously. So as far as congregating is concerned, this is what we do, right? But if for whatever reason, what I'm saying, a brother connected with his wife, maybe a brother like you, I know Yehuda, I wrote this book on the whole marriage book thing.
Oh,
I
that
talk
book's
about.
fire, by the way, bro. Yeah, me and my wife, we making our way for your book, bro. Hey,
Oh,
yo,
okay.
go get Maviu's book, man. Maviu, hey, God blessed him with some wisdom right there. I say I'll give my brother that. You know what I'm saying?
All
And
praises.
the book, hey, it's a pretty book. I'm not gonna lie, the book look real good, man. He put a lot of work into how that book look as well. It reads
All,
real smooth as well, man. It's like a smooth drink, man. Praise the Most High. It goes down well.
all praises. Thank you for that, Yehuda. I appreciate the kind words, and I give all praises to the Most High. But you have situations like, now I'm just being real, and I'm getting away from the back and forth banter, just being transparent. There are brothers and sisters who, like, they will be at it arguing for days and for weeks, right? And they finally make up, and it's good for their marriage, but now they can't congregate. Are they in sin? No, they're not in sin. They may not be able to come and congregate, but they're not in sin. What they did was a good thing for the sake of their marriage, so they can be reunited again, right? I cannot come to them and say, I know you guys have just gotten over this 2 week argument and bump. You guys were about to get divorced. And then after that, the Shabbat came, the night before the Shabbat came, and you guys felt that connection again. No, stop. You stop right there. You wait until the Shabbat is over. Like, I'm not going to do that, right? If the Lord put that spirit on them to be able to go ahead and do that, hey, so be it. It's good. The marriage bed is holy. Let them do their thing, and let them be reconnected for the sake of their family, for the sake of the children in the house. Let that happen. But that's not sin, right? That's all I'm trying to say. That's not sin. They may not be able to congregate, but it doesn't mean that that's sin. And that's where you and I, that's the difference that we're having in this conversation, Yehuda.
Hey, well, I appreciate the transparency, bro. Praise the Most High. You're just revealing, like, throwing more evidence into the murder mystery. And now we got to go off that as well. It's interesting. Praise the Most High. But I was going to say, King, so imagine, like, if you and your wife got busy and then came together with this congregation on a Shabbat. Would that be a sin or would that be okay?
Can you say that one more time? I got distracted. Say that one more
All
time.
right. So here's the scenario: it's the Sabbath day. You and the wife got busy, and then you go and congregate with this congregation on the Sabbath. Would that be a sin or would that be lawful?
Oh, as far as the congregation part, I think that would be sinful because at that point, and when I say sinful, I mean because the law specifically says that if we're unclean, we're not supposed to congregate.
Okay. And does the law, right, dictate that we are supposed to convocate on the Sabbath? as like a standard.
Yeah, it does as a standard. Absolutely, I agree with that as a standard. I like the way you said that.
Praise the Most High. So we may not walk together completely, but would you agree, according to the standard of the law, that we are supposed to convocate on the Sabbath day? Then that would also come with the implication that we are not supposed to have sex on the Sabbath day because God requires us to convocate, and we would not be able to convocate if we had sex with our wives on that day.
I think that would be your logical inference, but I don't think the Bible says that. Matter of fact, let me just say it clean. The Bible doesn't say that at all, right? Again, it gives us provisions for should this happen, this is what you should do. If you connect with your wife like that, then you guys can clean up and you'll be clean in 24 hours or by the evening, you'll be clean. So the law gives us provisions for that. So the law doesn't say what you're saying. I'm looking at the law, and I know sometimes we abstract to be able to come to some conclusions in some tricky situations, but this isn't a tricky situation. It's definitely not a tricky situation. So that's, again, connecting with your wife on the Shabbat is not a sin. That is not a sin. Being on your cycle on the Shabbat is not a sin. Having a child on the Shabbat is not a sin. But as far as congregating, that's a different story altogether. We're talking about, is it a sin? Does it separate you from the Most High God? No, it doesn't.
Okay, well, you know what? I can see how you're looking at the law in that sense. I don't think that's why we're meant to apply that law, but I can see your logic in that because when it comes to legal writings, that's why you've got lawyers and these people to interpret laws, even human laws. People come up with different interpretations, and everyone's got their methodology behind it. So I can understand yours to a degree, bro. But just another question. So, like, when the scripture says when the woman is unclean, right? That she needs to be set apart in Leviticus 15 and 19. Like, do you believe a woman needs to follow that to be set apart? Do you think she has to do that? Or if she didn't do it, would it be a sin? And then how would she do that? How would she be set apart in accordance to Leviticus 15 and 19? Like, what's the requirement there?
Let's read it. Let's read it. Leviticus 15 and 19. If a woman have an issue, and her issue is of be the flesh in her blood, or her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touches her shall be unclean in the evening. All right. And so the way that I read this is that, again, it's just about congregating. Like, she's not supposed to be congregating with other people. I would not take this to mean, like Yarash was saying earlier, that, oh, she's unclean, I'm putting her in the garage for 7 days. I'm putting her in the closet and I'm going to feed her bologna and pancakes under the door for 7 days. That's not what this means. It's just that she can't congregate for 7 days. Does that make sense?
Okay, so does she have to separate from her husband during that time or no?
No, I don't see that.
So where do you see that she doesn't have to separate from her husband?
Where do you see that she has to separate from her husband?
When it talks about whoever touches her would be unclean, right?
Yeah, they would just be unclean. It is what it is. They would just be unclean, not just the husband, but the children, right? Now, here's I want to show you the rabbit hole of how deep this goes. We all drive cars. We all get out and put gas in the car. You don't know who touched the knob before you. We all open doors. Everybody. You don't know who touched the doorknob before you. You got to understand how deep this hole goes and why Christ's sacrifice is so important, right? I don't have to worry about, oh man, I touched this doorknob, I'm unclean. Oh man, I picked this thing up off the floor. Who else walked on this floor? Oh damn, I'm unclean. Yo, it's a very deep rabbit hole, but I don't got to worry about any of that because I'm covered by the blood of Christ and I have his mercy. So I'm not worried about any of that
Sit
whatsoever.
in the
But
same seat as people too, mother.
oh my gosh, the same seat. Bro, I saw something crazy with the subways in New York, man. I got to stick to the Ubers, man. I got to stick to the Ubers, man. Subways is wilding. It's not like what it was back then. But anyhow, absolutely, I about it. You hit it right out the park. So that's how I see it, Yehuda. If you see it differently, I mean, if you put your wife in the closet, you know what I'm saying, to each their own. I'm not saying that that's what you do, but to each their own. But I don't see it that way by any means. It's just the way to. This is about hygiene and making sure things don't spread, right? Because the Levites were not only the priests, they were also like doctors at the same time. I wouldn't say that they were doctors, but they were like that, But do you see it differently, Yehuda?
I do, but I'm okay to wrap up there. Great
Whoa,
conversation,
whoa,
bro.
whoa. No,
Yeah, I've
how do you
enjoyed it,
see it
bro.
differently? Don't stop there. How do you see it differently? I want to hear you. How do you see it? What do you do when your rib is on her cycle? Do you put her away for 7 days? Do you send her to her mom's house? What do you do?
Yeah, yeah, we just don't touch each other. She goes in a separate room. We don't sleep in the same bed. I cook for myself and all of that. Praise the Most High. And yeah, I believe I got to separate from her because the Bible tells us not to touch the unclean thing. So if something's unclean, we're not meant to touch it. Even says if the priest touches something unclean. So yeah, I don't believe I'm supposed to like just touch her. You know what I'm saying? Unless there's a reason why I would have to, like life or death. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I can't play tag.
But you touch the doorknobs that she touches, right? In the house?
Yeah, but it don't say that. It talks about things that she sits on. It don't talk about like where her foot steps or it doesn't say like her doorknob. It's specific on the things that I can't touch. It's like her bed, her chair. You know what I'm saying? Them kind of things.
Got you, got you, got you. So you don't sit in any of the chairs that she sits on?
So she has her own. She has her own like seats for that time. And
Okay, I understand. I understand. Hey, I mean that's different. I mean, you having to cook every day for a week. I mean, hey, bro, that takes a lot of strength, man. One thing I'm not good at is I'm terrible in the kitchen. My milk
what?
to
What?
yeah,
What Israelite DNA at, man? Bro, you gotta be chefing it
yeah,
up, bro, man. You're letting your ancestors down, man. You're the priest for
hey.
chef, you know.
I cook, but I cook with finances. That's how I cook. My mind needs to be someplace else
I ain't
in
mad at
order to
that,
maintain.
my brother.
Yeah, but but I am like no one. I will say this, Yehuda. I don't think anyone in Israel can make a better bowl of cereal than I can. My milk to cereal ratio has been unmatched for the last 20 years. So anybody who wants that smoke, anytime we'll meet up in Atlanta. We'll bring the film crew and we'll measure everything out. Anybody who want that smoke. But anyhow, but hey, Yehuda, I appreciate you for being transparent. I mean, we both see things differently. I know we're both trying to at least be sincere in keeping the commandments of God, even though we see this differently. My only appeal to you is like from one leader to another. Is just keep in mind how your congregation can take something and run with it and like really abstract it and pull and go down a rabbit hole. You know what I mean? So regarding the Sabbath, I would just say consider that. But hey, you're free to believe what you wish.
I appreciate it, bro. Last thing I say is I sprinkle all the doctrine of the Most High with grace in it. Like, even the whole separation period with a wife and that. I'm telling you, I ain't perfect at it, but I try and hold the standard that I see in the scripture in it. And I always pray every day for the Most High's mercy on my trespasses. You know what I'm saying, G?
Khan, I know when he gets back, he's going to correct us all. Any place that we're in error, there could be some places where I'm in error, and he's going to correct us all. But I know at the heart of everything, Yehuda, I know you're trying. And I think all of us brothers here, we're trying. You know what I'm saying? I know we get up on stages and we like to, really correct each other with the doctrines. There's some doctrines that are a lot more clear than others. But I think at the heart of everything that we're trying. So, hey, it was a good build, Yehuda. I definitely want to, can't. I look forward to having the conversation of Christ being a sinner who eats corn. I cannot wait to have that conversation with you. But anyhow, man, all praises to the Most High, man. Good build.
Hey, though, my book, I was trying to say like Leviticus, I think it's 12, if I'm not mistaken. So when she's unclean from having a child, she can't keep the Shabbat.
How bad your mic is bad, King.
Yeah, you sound like you on an Android.
No,
He's gonna try to get off mute quick. Watch.
for a second, real quick though. I was just saying Leviticus 12, right? So the way he teaching it is if she have a child, she can't keep the Shabbat.
Con, I bad. That's what I was saying. That's why, like, if you like, God forbid you have a child on the Shabbat, it's a wrap. It's gonna you've desecrated the Shabbat. Like, that's what we were trying to say earlier. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the Most High got to reveal things to brothers, man. Some brothers will. Most of us learn by pain. So I've learned a lot of times on these stages. I'm gonna give it to you, Nasiah. I learned a lot of time on these stages when brothers like were the more aggressive brothers who take the more aggressive approach, where that could be seen as like, man, that's not gentle, that's not kind. Yo, I think it's dope because some brothers need that like punch in the gut. They need that punch in the face to be able to, wake up and realize, damn, what am I doing? I did get embarrassed, and I'm looking at this the wrong way. The right ones will humble themselves. The wrong ones will pride up and come back again like a villain. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on with Yehuda. We'll see what's going on. Nasai, you got it.
Hey, real quick before the site helping that to me. Hey, and then I heard the other point when you was dialoguing with the brother. The brother brought out when Moses had to tell the children of Israel not to come to their wives. Hey, this brother was trying to pull out all stop, right? Just to try to prove his point without context. That's crazy work. Hey, that's diabolical to the room, right? Hey, Messiah, you got it.
Yeah, I just want to get a Shalom to the room. How about Shemel Shabrakatah Washington? I want to just get an understanding. So let's say my wife is barren, and finally the Most High, puts us in a situation where she's ovulating on the Shabbat. You mean to tell me that we cannot be fruitful and multiply because it's the wrong time to do it?
Hey, is that a commandment?
I think it's a commandment to be fruitful and multiply, right?
It's a commandment except
Con.
on the Shabbat. You don't want to keep. You don't want to keep a specific law on the Shabbat because it may break the Shabbat. Yeah, you see how that gets. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could abstract that, and now all of a sudden, what do we have? We have confusion, and we know the Most High is not the author of confusion. But I understand, like, this is how the brother sees it, and I think like conversations like this can make us think things through, and you know Lord willing, they could be a little bit more gracious in their positions. This has happened to me too, so I've had to like I had to kind of look at things differently and whatnot, and adjust positions as well. So give brothers time. I'm sure if brothers are sincere, they'll get there. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely, be fruitful and multiply. Commandment. Can I keep that commandment on the Shabbat? Yes, I can. Is it a sin? No, it is not a sin to be fruitful and multiply on the Shabbat. Can I congregate? Probably not. But did it separate me from God? No, it did not separate me from God. Go ahead, Yarash.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Yehuda, typically, how long are you separated from your wife when she's on her flower? If you could just put the number in the chat. And to all the sisters, how long are you separated from your husband whenever you are on your flower? So you said 7 days. This is let me read this. You're going to have to double those days. This is Leviticus 15, and I'm going to read verse 28. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. So you got to double up those numbers, my boy, and make it 14. Yep. It says after she is cleansed, then she must count 7 days. Then she is clean. So I don't know why y'all stopping at 7.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That is in context too. I know you're saying that's not in context, Yehuda, but I'm looking at it. It is 100% in context. I just wanted to double check to make sure before I speak up on it. It was 100% in context. So after she's cleansed, and then you got 7 days to be to be clean, and then on the eighth day you had to go bring sacrifices to the priest at the temple of the congregation where people would congregate in Israel. So that's why I was saying this is all about the set apart has to do with being set apart from the people, the congregation. But if you want to abstract that, or anybody else, this is how I read it. If someone sees it differently, like, no, I'm separating myself completely from my wife, we're in two different. Hey, I'm not going to fight you. I think we're all trying to be sincere and trying to keep these commandments the best that we can.
So how many of you sisters are separated from your husband 14 days? Put it in check.
Yo, is it quiet or it's just me?